sluts. Today I want to talk to you about sluts, and don't turn it off. Don't turn it off. It's gonna be good. I promise. I have a point. What I actually want to talk to you about today is not talking about sluts, because there's this crazy phenomenon. You already know what it is, even if you don't know what it's called. But it's called slut shaming. And you already know what this is because everyone has done this at some point. And I do mean everyone. But basically, slut shaming is when a person, and let's be real, usually a woman, gets degraded or insulted for having sex, talking about sex, dressing too sexy, dating multiple people, just being attractive. And the craziest thing about slut shaming, you don't even actually have to be a slut for this to happen to you. All you have to do to get called a slut is do something to upset somebody, because for some reason that she has sex, it's gross, is a good insult. And the even crazier thing about slut shaming is when you remember that we are living in a world that wants to objectify and sexualize your every eyelash. Basically, women are for sex, but don't be a slutcha slut. So this is a Christianity channel, and Christians are all about chastity and waiting till marriage and all that stuff. So what does slut shaming have to do with us? Remember how I said everyone has slut shamed at some point? It's true. I know you have. Don't deny it, Samantha. Don't deny it. What happens when you call someone a slut is that you evaluate that person instead of evaluating their actions. And you're making it seem like that person is fundamentally bad or fundamentally worse than you. And you can't always judge the quality of a person solely on their actions, because people have a lot of reasons for doing what they do. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some things people do that make them absolutely monstrous, but usually the things that we call people sluts for don't fall into that category. So let's take a look at some biblical sluts. John chapter 4. Jesus is traveling through Samaria when he stops at a well to get a drink. A woman is there at the well. A woman Jesus knows has had 5 husbands and is currently living with a guy, not her husband. We don't know exactly what their situation is, but I think it's pretty safe to assume that this woman is widely considered a slut. So Jesus asks her for a drink from the well and starts telling her about the living water, which is him and all this, and then asks her to go get her husband, to which she replies that she has no husband. To which Jesus replies, "Thou hast said well, I have no husband, for thou hast had 5 husbands, and he who thou now hast is not thy husband. In that thou saidst truly." And that's all he said about it. And then he goes on to start telling her about Jesus, who is him. Notice how Jesus doesn't make any evaluative comments about how she is a filthy, dirty slut. He just goes on to tell her the good word. Just like, yep, you've had 5 husbands and this other guy, but moving on, moving on. And another Bible story about Jesus and sluts. John chapter 8. Jesus is up in the Mount of Olives when the scribes and Pharisees bring him this woman that they have caught in the act of adultery. They think they have got her so good, she is going down. So they asked Jesus what they should do to her, bringing up that the law of Moses, the Old Testament, says that they could stone her. And I can just imagine that they are like, please let us stone her, please, 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 Jesus, we want to stone her. Oh. So Jesus just starts to drawing on the ground, which admittedly I don't understand at all, but the scribes and Pharisees keep bugging him, and so he gets up and says, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." Oh! If this had been a rap battle, Jesus would have dropped the mic and walked away. Oh! So then all the scribes and Pharisees leave. I imagine they shuffle out looking at their sandals, probably pretty embarrassed. And Jesus asks the woman, "Where are her accusers? And hath no man condemned her?" To which she replies, "No man." And he says, "Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more." Once again, Jesus doesn't evaluate this woman based on the things she's done. He acknowledges that there is sin because he tells her to go and sin no more, but he doesn't call her a slut or do anything that sounds like a judgment about her. He just tells her to go and sin no more. And that's it. And no one is gonna want to come to your Bible study after you've called them a slut. It's not gonna get you anywhere good in this world, so stop doing that. So just remember, people are complex and people have souls, and you have to start thinking of them as people with souls, not doers of actions that don't meet up with whatever your personal value system is, and then I promise things will get a whole lot better. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next week.